Subscribe to James the Sheriff Dixon, you motherfucker.
This is Fun Times with the Sheriff, Season 5, Episode 3. I got Gray back on. Say hello.
Hello.
So, alright, did you want to go off first, or did you want me to start off?
Go ahead and start.
Okay, so I guess we were just talking about it. We could just jump right into fear, because I think last time we talked about it, you were just catching up on it, last season on the podcast here.
I'm not entirely 100% caught up on what's out, but I will say that my opinions on the show kind of haven't changed as far as just stop, I guess.
Oh, this new season's its final one, so.
Oh, so is it good though?
No.
Like, so comparing or just thinking about the rest of the show, like the best characters they've gotten rid of, and it's not compelling at all. And to me it wasn't worth like paying for the
subscription,
service is on anymore. Because I feel like it's yet another in a long line of intellectual properties that these creators and showrunners just need to be fine with letting die.
But after the main show, they haven't had a good spin-off since the main one,
Right. We need to learn to be okay with things ending, and there's actually a lot of really good examples I could give for that. Dragon Ball is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Fast and the Furious is another one.
That new one just came out this weekend, didn't it?
I think so. But that's the thing. Like, apparently there's going to be, like, so this...
Two parts.
The last 10 is... Well, no, it's actually going to be 3 parts.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So it's like... So, no, Fast and Furious 10 isn't the last one. You guys are doing 12 and... or 11, 12, and 13, too. So, like...
That's on my list to watch. I've never seen a Fast Furious movie. That's on my list to watch further along the line for my bad movie reviews.
I think I saw one, like, when it came out 50 years ago. But like, I have not had any interest in seeing any of them since. And it's just...
I've only seen clips online of people making fun of it. That's pretty much it.
Right. And, like, they seem like fun action movies. Like, just... something that you watch completely head empty,
background noise.
Right. It's just when you look at how much money they're spending on these projects, and you think about where that money could go, to making new projects and to bringing new writers in and creating completely original properties, but they keep wasting it on the same crap that they know people
over
are going to
and
go
over. Yeah.
Right. Transformers is I think probably one of the best examples of this.
Oh yeah,
where,
I heard that from critics reviews, I heard the new one coming up is like very, very bad.
I mean, they've been bad for a long time. I mean,
they don't follow this.
They're committing war crimes in these movies,
and they don't follow their own story. Like each movie's like a different movie of itself.
Right, and it's really weird. So there's like this pop culture thing where you see it in Samurai Jack, you see it in a lot of the Star Wars movies, but if violence is done to a robot, then it's somehow okay.
Yeah.
Even though, like, especially in the Transformers,
they're sentient.
They're going out of their way to make these Transformers look alive.
Yeah.
And
they're sentient robot beings too. So
exactly. And so, like, to see Optimus Prime like headshot another Transformer that's begging him not to. It's like, what the hell am I watching?
Or him like ripping a robot in half or whatever, like he did Megatron. Yeah.
It's insane. It's just let it end.
That brings me up. I have another thing. Marvel movies recently.
Oh God. I think the only 2 Marvel movies from like the current MCU that I watched and liked were seriously the first 2 Iron Man movies. After that, I checked out. I have no interest in them. They all look exactly the same to me.
Well, since Endgame, they kind of have been like exactly the the same format because I go. Those are the only movies I will see in theaters. These will be spoiled because I'm a movie review person. I'll be spoiled if I don't see it the opening weekend.
Right. But they all look exactly like the same movie. They've all got this like, and you actually see the same thing in video games, in a lot of modern video games, where everything has to look ultra realistic.
Yep.
Ultra gritty.
They have a
everything has
checklist.
Too much bloom on it. Like it's another series actually is an example of they just need to let it end as freaking Picard.
Oh. Yeah. We were talking. I'm not a fan much of the whole Star Trek thing, so this one I'm gonna have to go on you off of.
Yeah, so I'm a huge Trekkie. And so my son and I, we watched the last season of Picard. He didn't watch the first two seasons on my recommendation because they're bad.
Mm-hmm.
There's good parts in them. They look good, but they're just bad. And so we were watching the last season of Picard because we're both huge The Next Generation fans.
Yeah.
And so sorry for those of you who haven't seen it yet, but
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Basically, Picard brings back the original crew from TNG.
Yeah.
A lot of that sounds really fun on the surface, and it is really fun on the surface. It makes for really bad storytelling, and like it's kind of weird because so many people gave Picard such a glowing review for that last season.
Yeah.
And at first, my son and I were really enjoying it. And if you're watching it just with nothing in mind except for fan service, then it's fine. But when you start like looking into the story beats and
by itself,
right, especially the way that like Jack Crusher, he's a freaking nepo baby, 100%. His dad is Jean-Luc, his mom is Dr. Crusher. He basically gets bridge command after he essentially tries to destroy the entire Federation. And it's like when you compare the vitriol that came from something like Discovery, which a lot of it was earned.
Yeah.
But when you compare like how people kind of hate the character of Michael Burnham, who's the main character in Discovery, to how everybody loves Jack Crusher, the white kid, that kind of some cracks kind of start to show a little bit. It's fine. Watch it if you want to watch fun space stuff. The space effects are beautiful. There are some interesting. They're setting up some interesting possible spin-offs with like Seven of Nine, who is a fan favorite, one of my favorite characters.
Mm-hmm.
But does it add anything to Star Trek as a whole? No, absolutely not. And we're seeing so much of that happen where they just keep adding stuff onto these properties that don't need to be.
Yeah.
And it ruins it.
I was gonna bring up. My cousin watches whatever it's called, the Orville. Is that something you like? That's like a comedy spin on like the whole Star Trek genre.
Yeah, I've watched that show, and it's actually pretty good. It's got problems with it. There's some kind of weird preachy episodes that kind of get the wrong answer or the wrong.
It is Seth MacFarlane to be.
Across.
Yeah, it's Seth MacFarlane to be fair.
Right, exactly, and so he approaches some things with the sensitivity that they deserve, but then other things just doesn't. It's a fun show. I recommend it for anybody, I guess, who's into like sci-fi, especially space stuff.
Yeah.
But if you want like a really good, impactful space show, go watch The Expanse.
Oh yeah. Oh my cousins love that. I started it, but I haven't finished it yet. So.
Go watch The Expanse. Go read the books. You won't regret it.
So
the show isn't as good as the books, but I mean,
that's for everything.
Name a property where that's true.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I kind of wanted to backtrack a bit. I wanted to talk about these Guardians just came out too. I saw it twice, last weekend and this weekend with my aunt. The last movie is actually really good for a Marvel movie.
So I will actually that does actually remind me. When I said there's only 2 Marvel movies that I've seen and liked, I did actually see the first 2 Guardians. I really liked the first one. The second one was still good. Um, I haven't had any interest in seeing the new ones. Again, it's just they all look the same.
Oh, this one wraps it up in like a neat little bow because these characters aren't coming back at least for a while because James Gunn took over DC, so he wrapped it up in this movie in a way where they could come back if they wanted to, but they're not going to really.
I might watch it. It's definitely not something I'm gonna go see in theaters.
Yeah.
There are very few movies that have come out in theaters recently that I've even had the remotest interest to watch in theaters, and at this point it's so expensive and so hard just to get to the theaters. I'll just watch it here, at home.
Yeah.
If I really want to see it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm the same way right now. There's like I said, Marvel's the only thing I'll go see in theaters. Everything else I can just wait for it to like come on demand or a free streaming service or whatever.
Right, or with how Twitter's been just crumbling.
Oh
inside,
yeah.
Probably go watch something on Twitter, like the Mario movie. Just go watch it on Twitter.
The 2-hour upload things or whatever. Yeah.
Might as well just go watch it. I mean,
why
not?
For some of the shows I've also been watching. I think I brought this up to you. What We Do in the Shadows. I'm finally all caught up on that.
I'm so glad you're caught up on that. That is one of my favorite shows that's still currently being made.
I loved season 4. I stopped halfway through season 3, and I was like, I have time. I binged it in like 2 days.
Yeah, that's a show that's got like rewatchability built into it because there's so many jokes that you'll get on a second watch through that you might not have caught the first time.
Yeah.
And it's just such a funny show. It's one of those shows that's able to poke fun at everybody but not punch down at anybody really.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice to watch. It's kind of nice to see something like that where, because there's so much, especially in today's climate, there's so much argument, so much hate over
A joke
like,
said in
inclusivity, right, and stuff like that. But they work that sort of stuff into that show, and they do it in a good way that's still really really funny. Without feeling preachy or weird.
Talk down to, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the best shows. Have you seen the movie?
After I watched it, I watched the movie for the first time too, and I could definitely see the changes they made from the show to the movie to make it like better.
Right, but it's just such a good.
It's made by one of a famous YouTube group, isn't it too? That the movie or something. Because when I saw the company name, I was like, that's a YouTube person, I think.
Flight of the Conchords. So a lot of the actors and writers from What We Do in the Shadows kind of got their start in Flight of the Conchords, like Rhys Darby. I know Rhys Darby and Taika Waititi are like BFFs now. It's actually kind of like if you go on YouTube and look up videos of those two together, it's a lot like watching Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart hang out there. It's like the cutest thing ever. What We Do in the Shadows is, I think we've watched it like at least twice all the way through. It's easily one of my favorite shows that is made in like the past probably 20
I was
years.
gonna sit down because I think I've told you before, me and my mom on weekends watch TVs, so I was gonna sit down one weekend and show her it. She hasn't seen it yet, but she's seen the movie.
She'll enjoy it. If she enjoyed the movie, she'll enjoy this show. My son and I watch it, and it's like one of those things where at first you might be a little bit weirded out, like watching with your parents.
Yeah.
But
I watch Game of Thrones with her, so.
Yeah. I mean, me and my son have watched all kinds of weird stuff, so I think it's fine. It's such a fun show and such a good movie. Honestly, and another really good one with actually kind of the same dynamic duo, Rhys Darby and Taika Waititi is Our Flag Means Death.
I'll put this down so I can check it out later.
Yeah, same writers, same people in charge. It's actually about this guy really existed. He was the gentleman pirate. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he really existed, and Blackbeard ends up in there.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's all like pirate
oriented.
Kind of, right? Exactly. It's all like Caribbean pirates and stuff like that. It's such a fun show. I highly recommend it.
So, and then another one I watched. The show called Dave.
I've heard of it. I don't really know anything about it.
pretty much it's about the rapper Lil Dicky.
Hmm.
It's about his life and how he became famous.
Okay.
That's the premise of the show, and season 3 is almost over. I think this week it's the finale for season 3. It's really great. You get to see the writing process that he goes through and all that. It's hilarious too. It's a drama / comedy. So it's really good.
There's actually a show I just watched on Amazon. It's Amazon Prime. It's called Swarm. Have you heard of it?
Yes, I've heard of that. Yeah.
It's really, really good. It's
I'll add that to my
weird.
list too.
Yeah, it's really weird.
I've heard
there
From
are-
is good too because I've been seeing a lot of promotion for that on Prime.
It's kind of cool seeing all the stuff that like Black creators are starting to make. You have a lot of stuff with Jordan Peele,
Mm-hmm.
like Nope, and all the movies he's doing. Swarm is actually, I think it was created by Childish Gambino.
Mm-hmm.
So it does center on a young Black woman, and it is such a trippy, well written show. It's super weird. It's one of those where like at the end of every episode you're gonna be like, okay, how do I interpret this?
Yeah.
It's a thinker, I guess, and I don't like using that term because it automatically sounds like it's full of itself. But
Yeah,
it
yeah.
isn't.
And then I guess
It's a very good show.
I got 2 more things because we're already almost at that time to talk. I watched the new Evil Dead too, by the way.
Was it good?
It like we were talking about earlier, definitely has like a checklist of stuff that it was crossing off, but I thought it was okay for a Evil Dead movie.
I remember the first, like, I remember watching the original Evil Dead, and I guess when I heard that they were making,
This one?
Right, I kind of had the same, like, do we really need this? But I do like the first one, so it might be something I watch if it's like on Amazon or something I don't have to pay for.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
I'm ready to see some new stuff.
And then Then I wanted to bring up tonight. Barry's series finale is tonight.
Oh my gosh, I love Barry. I'm not caught up on it. Right now I can't really afford the HBO Max
yeah.
subscription or Max or whatever the heck they're calling it.
I was there for the Switch because I was trying to turn on Max and it made me quit and update it, and now it's
It's all the streaming stuff. I think that's a whole other. You could probably dedicate a couple episodes to how bad the streaming landscape is getting.
Next time around we can talk. Yeah.
Yeah, Barry. I highly recommend Barry to anybody who hasn't seen it. It's another weird one.
Bill Hader, surprisingly really good.
He's fantastic in it. The guy that played the Fonz.
Henry Winkler. Henry Winkler. I get. Yeah.
Yes, he's fantastic in it. It is an extremely violent
Dark.
show.
Yeah, dark too at some points.
Very graphic. So if you're not into that, maybe give it a miss, or maybe watch it with somebody who doesn't mind that stuff, so they can tell you to turn away, and when it's fine to look back.
Barry's one of them shows where I bring it up to people and they've never heard of it, and I'm like, sit down for a second.
Yeah, it's I think it's very underrated. I love Bill Hader. I think I've liked everything I've seen him in, and he's one of those actors that, most people know him for SNL.
Yeah.
But he's got a
For Stefan, yeah.
He's terrific. He's very talented.
So yeah, I guess we're at that time. Is there any final things, anything you want to promote or whatever?
Nope. You can find me at Twitch at Gray Aria.
And I'll link it below.
Greyaria. I'm there.
Yeah.
I haven't been doing much there lately, but that's where you can find me. If you just search Gray Aria and you want to find me, that's usually what you can find me under anywhere.
I'll link it below too.
Thanks.
All right, and thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I look forward to next time. It's been fun.
All right.
I just want to shout out an amazing channel, James the Sheriff Dixon. Oh, he's such a great guy, and he is super cool for coming to the show. I'm glad I got to meet him in person, and you should subscribe.